In today's video, we have to discuss a card that has jumped over 330% just over the weekend. But we also need to discuss other cards that are finding favor and prices are increasing. And that doesn't mean that it's a good thing. The Magic market continues to see cards spiking in price, and that's unlikely to change in the near future. But by the end of today's video, you may know what to look for before you buy one of these cards. Welcome back, everyone. MTG Moxman here, and thank you again for hanging out with me on my channel today. And it's kind of an interesting day in the world of Magic the Gathering, right? We have a lot going on. And we're going to start today with a card that jumped 330%, but there's other cards to share with you showing other movement in the market space that doesn't make a lot of sense considering how many reprints some of these cards have gone through. So let's start out with this first card. I know a lot of you guys don't like waiting, so we're going to jump right into this and we're going to show you the card. So here is Forsaken Waste, okay? This is from Mirage. I talked about this in my top 10. And I mentioned it in a video last week, and that's because of how well it's going to fit with the card from Duskmourn in the Commander deck, the Volgoth guy. It's going to be one of those key cards that players are after, but that doesn't mean it's worth a lot of money, okay? This card was $4.87, and I'm showing you the picture I took from Friday night, and I'm doing that on purpose to share something with you, because here is the Monday image of what just happened. So after I went through recording on the top 10 video, all those sales that happened in the market, 400 plus sales, you can see now the card has jumped up. Let's go back again to Friday night, $4.87. Now let's jump forward, and now it's $19.99 on average. There is no way that this price is going to hold. There is no way that this card can keep that level of value in this market space. Now, in case you didn't know the card very well, I'm giving you guys a little retake. 1 black, 2 generic Enchant World. Players cannot gain life. During each player's upkeep, that player loses 1 life. If Forsaken Waste is the target of a successfully cast spell, that caster of the spell loses 5 life. So there you go. That's kind of the rundown of the card. And again, this card has no chance of holding that price. There is not nearly going to be enough Commander decks using Volgoth to make this card retain value. It's not possible, and since it's not played in multiple other decks, there's nothing else to hold the card up. It's going to sink back down, and it's going to sink down really fast. Now, that's not the only card I want to share with you, but I needed to get this one out first today. Yes, it's spiked up the most. It's a card of interest for a lot of players who may be building with it, but even if there was 1,000 Commander decks being built every day for 2 weeks, that's 15,000 copies possibly leaving the market. And they will be replaced because a card like this has probably hundreds of thousands of copies still in circulation that may be sitting in bulk bins. Be aware of this. This price is not going to hold. And as cool as it is to see that thing get bought out and to see the market drained of its stock and its great information here on YouTube, I'm here to give you the truth. Whether you like it or not, the card's getting restocked. The pricing isn't going to hold. And speculators out there, if they're not quick enough, are going to lose a lot of money. And that's where we're at. So let's go ahead and take a look at our next card, okay? Now, this is Opulescence. Again, a card that was in my top 10 video and a card that's had some interest. This one has a little more versatility and it has had value in the past. But I want to show you a stretched out timeline here. This is what's happened in the last couple of days. Take a look at September 3rd. Take a look at the 9th. This card is already trending down. It's already lost value. It cannot hold itself up based on the Commander deck construction that's going on inside the market space. Now, taking again a closer look at Opulescence, you'll see here, for 2 white, 2 generic, this card says each other global enchantment is a creature in addition with power and toughness equal to its converted mana cost. It's still an enchantment, okay? So understanding that even with all this information on the card, even with its versatility, this card cannot hold its value. Look at the arcing of the sales already trending down. Now, I didn't bother showing Fast Bond, but since the the competitive EDH, CEDH went out, it looks like a lot of those speculators are going to lose some money really quick. It doesn't mean that it won't be unbanned at some point. But for the moment, anyone who tied up $50 in a Fast Bond is probably about to get burned out really quick. And again, it comes down to if the card's banned or not banned. I'll put that aside for a moment. We're not talking about fast bond today, but it happens when speculation runs rampant on wording. Opulescence does have more versatility in the market. It already had an okay price tag of $14, $15 when I mentioned it last week. Now look at the price tag again, in case you missed it. We'll just jump this bad boy up here for you again, right? Oh, wrong one. Take a look, and you can see here it's at 45. It jumped 20-something dollars. It's not going to hold that price. It just can't. There's not enough people buying the card when the restock comes in to hold its price level up. Now, market manipulation is something I actually know a lot about. We have done experiments here on my channel with cards like Soldevi Excavations to see what happens in the market. We managed to double and triple the price of a Soldevi. And no, it never went back down to its base level, but at the same time, it never held its price either. Guys, I have a lot of information, a lot of data that follows these things. It's not going to hold. Now, let's take a look at the next card because this one is not on the reserve list. Now, here we have Emrakul, the Aeons Torn. This is Rise of the Eldrazi edition, and you can see here now the average price is back up to $94.21. This thing has gone up like $57 in the last few days. This is insane to see that weekly change of 40, 50 bucks. Now, I know it's banned in Commander. I know it can be used in Modern, Vintage, Legacy. I get it. There's still gameplay that's going to happen. Kitchen table magic all the time. But does that warrant a card like this holding that type of value? Because the difference between this card and a reserve list card, this thing's been reprinted all over the place. It was available for a long time. It's gone through multiple reprints in specialty products. There is tons of this card available. If you think it's going to hold at that price, you're about to be taken for a ride that you're not going to enjoy, and you should get off at the nearest intersection. This is not a card you want to take a ride on, guys. I don't care. It's not worth it. Now, our next card, and the last one I want to share with you before we get to the next part of the video. This is Arid Mesa. Now, I'm showing you the Modern Horizons 2 version for a reason. This thing went as low as like 10 bucks. And finally, in the last little while, we've seen an uptick on this card. And that's because of a few cards being played in Modern that really bring up the contingent that this card gets used. So this card, and I think Flooded Strand, they get a lot more gameplay. People are using them a lot because of a few of the decks they construct for Modern. Now, this thing has started shooting up finally back to kind of, sub-level where it was years ago back in 2021. But it's taken a long time to recover because it got obliterated with Modern Horizons 2. But guess what? I think people also fail to realize sometimes that there's a lot of Arid Mesas out there. It's been reprinted quite a few times now, and the amount that got opened in Modern Horizons 2 was just silly. You could get like 6 in a single collector's box. Now, collector boxes were expensive, don't get me wrong, but there's a lot of copies available. So what do you think's going to happen when the popularity of that particular deck waxes or wanes? When it starts going down and nobody cares anymore, and people start trading in some of these key game pieces that they own for some trade-in value for something new, too much is going to hit the market at some point. Too many are still out there and available that never really got absorbed into the market space in the first place. And now you have too many and the price gets suppressed. It's not going to hold long term. The value on something like this cannot hold at its current level if people start selling it back into the market space. So if you're a player who has some of these and you've thought about trading them in, it's not a bad time to do so. But remember, you're getting 50 cents on the dollar if you're going for cash, and you're maybe getting 80 cents on the dollar if you're going for trade-in. So it's still only going to hold oh so much value. And that's where players find themselves, well, why should I bother trading it in at all? And that's what everyone's hoping you'll do. Everyone is hoping that players don't trade in Emrakul. They're hoping you don't trade in your fetch lands, especially things like Arid Mesa that get played a lot right now, because they get to sell it to you and make a lot of money. The reprint equity for Wizards of the Coast looks really strong on paper and allows them to warrant another reprint. Now, I have multiple friends who've got 80 to 100 of each fetch land because they've got it across all kinds of commander decks and they hate switching them in and out. They hate the idea of having to unsleeve and resleeve. But as more and more decks get created and more people have a multitude of commander decks, which used to not be the case, players eventually get bored of them and start trading in the components to build new ones. Some people just downsize collections. There's a lot going on in this market space that just reminds you that you shouldn't put all your your eggs in one basket. You shouldn't assume these prices are going to hold long term. And we've been proven time and time again by fact that they don't. That market manipulation exists. It's here. It's in your everyday life everywhere. And when you look at what's on paper and you look at things in front of you, you can logically kind of guess where things are going to go in the near future just based on what you know about a particular card and how many times it's been printed or reprinted. Even reserve list cards like Forsaken Waste cannot hold up. Fast Bond can't hold up either, as much as I love the card and would love to see it unbanned. That's my personal opinion. I understand that Revised had a massive print run. And then we had much smaller print runs for everything from the collector edition versions, unlimited, and then of course down the line to alpha and beta. Those have very small print runs. But Revised was a massive print run. It went on for a long time. It was available in stores for years. Keep that stuff in mind. Cards like that can't just go through one wave of buyouts and retain price. It takes year after year of consolidating powers. That means people out there who buy multitudes of them control the market and dole them out sparingly on the secondary market, controlling how much drips in. Newer cards do not have that stipulation. Reserve list manipulation happens like that all the time, but new cards, nothing stops it because there is just too many out there to even count. Be aware of this, be smart, make your choices, and just be ready for the fallout when it happens. Thanks again for hanging out with the Moxman. I really hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I hope you found it informative. We're here at the end. If anybody's still here, are you out there? Drop some comments in the comment section. And of course, if you enjoyed today's content, you want to see more things like this, just go ahead, subscribe to my channel, turn on your notification bell, and you'll see me each and every day because I put out content every single day. Have a great day, everyone. Shop smart, shop S-Mart, and enjoy the rest of your day. Well, 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 we meet again and welcome back to the end of the party. Guys, thanks again for being here. What you're seeing right now is my patrons. These are the supporters of this channel who allow for daily uploaded content to happen each and every day. Without them, we wouldn't have a channel right now. So thanks again to my supporters, whether you're a YouTube membership member or on my Patreon, you guys make it happen. So thanks again, and I'll see you guys tomorrow, of course, with another video. Okay, let's get some facts out there. First, you made it past the gates. You got past the flying monkeys, your toes curled up when the house hit you, and now you're in the Emerald City of Oz. You're in the Ramble Jamble. You've made it to the end. So, I want to remind you guys, I love reserve list cards. I love them, but I'm not blind to the fact of how this market moves and what happens over time. I will always inform to the best of my ability of what I know goes on, and make sure the players of my channel, the people who hang out here, are the most well-informed as I can give you. There's too many cards out there. People shouldn't be buying at those prices. Wait for things to dip and you will save a ton of money. Be smart with your cash. You only have so much. We trade our time for money, and our money needs to get us things and save for our future. Guys, be smart. I'll see you guys later. Have an awesome day. Ramble Jamble!